Hi there, just got back from my 20-mile ride on the 24th of January to remember Johnny and Keith, who were Jaguar pilots who died in training accidents before the war. And also remembering Budgie, who was shot down, who got blown up by his own bombs this day 30 years ago, and Bob Ankerson, his navigator. And they survived as prisoners of war, but sadly Budgie died 5 years later in a really sad training accident. And Mal spoke earlier this week about grief and the effect of grief when you can't start the grieving process. And I remember when Norman and Kieran were killed on the 30th of January. They were on 14 Squadron, as was I. They were good mates of mine from the squadron, but I was guesting on 9 Squadron at the time. And we went into work and we heard that there'd been a crash, or we'd heard they were missing. And we basically just had to get on and get ready for that sortie that night. And it was a very difficult sortie that night. Very technically difficult, lots of stuff going on. So we had to really concentrate, and we didn't really start that grieving process. And when we got back, of course, we then couldn't really grieve because we had to get on and think about the next missions, and then the war starting in a few days' time. And the first night of the war, we lost a couple of crews. We lost John and John, on the first night. The prisoners of war, we knew they were prisoners of war. We knew they'd been beaten up quite badly, but at least we knew they were alive. And then Nige and Max, of course we didn't know the outcome of Nige and Max, but Max was on 14 Squadron with me before he moved to 27. So again, another good mate, and another mate I couldn't really grieve for because we had to just get on and do it. And then Gary and Kev, I didn't really know Kev, but Gary I knew very well. Gary stayed with us the night before Rachel, his daughter, was born, because we were at Bruggen and he was in Larbrook, and Anne was at the time in Vegberg. So very good friends, went through training with him in the last bit of training for the Tornado. So again, really shocking knowing they'd gone and not knowing whether they'd survived or not. And then Budgie and Bob going down today, and Robbie and Waddo earlier this week as well. So lots and lots of people not coming back and not knowing whether they're alive or dead, and not being able to get and grieve because we had a job to do. And of course, it then went a bit quiet. We didn't really have many losses until the 14th of February, and more of that later. But it's still difficult. We still had that loss, and we still couldn't get on and grieve because we had to get on. But now the Tornado Tribute Tour of England is a real way of really expressing that grief and expressing that love and that friendship of those really great guys who didn't come back with us. It's a really great chance to get to know the families a little bit more, and to let them know that their loved ones are not forgotten about. And it's a small thing we're doing. It's a few miles on a bike, a few hours on a bike, but it's really heartfelt and it's really done with meaning. And it's so great to hear all the support we're getting from all around the world. Some people on operations are doing this, people who work in Saudi Arabia and America, all up and down the country. People are getting involved with this tribute tour to help remember those who didn't come back. And I know the families are getting a great deal of comfort from it, from the messages I've received, the messages we've received, and of course the social media outpouring is fantastic. So it's been great. It's a really nice way to remember the guys 30 years on, really good way to remember the war 30 years on, and all the suffering of all the people, not just the Allies, but also the Iraqi people as well, who are still struggling and suffering now. So thank you for all your support. Thank you for everything you've done, be it cycling, walking, running, just thinking, or in whatever way you're remembering. And of course the donations come flooding in. We're up to nearly £13,000 now. I think we're nearly 17 plus with gift aid, so it's just amazing. So thank you so much, and please continue to carry on supporting us. Thank you, and have a great day.